Thanks for tuning into this masterclass. Today I'm going to teach you how to set up your first robbery. In the real world, robbery is a crime where you beat somebody up and then you take their stuff, okay? You beat them up and you take their stuff. And Fallout 2, it works essentially the same. It's a combat related thing where you're able to gain access to somebody's inventory. And we're not going to be doing it by knocking them out. They're going to be standing on their own feet. Now, to gain access to somebody's inventory, you'd have to talk to them and barter with them, or you'd have to steal from them. But in combat mode, we've got other ways to do it. What I want you to understand is the way things work with opponents that wield weapons in Fallout 2, whenever you can get them to lose a turn, anytime you can get them to lose a turn, be it a critical effect, that's like a critical effect bonus where they lose a turn, you've stunned them, you've staggered them, they're off balance, or even if they critical fail, and in this message window it says they've critical failed and lost a turn, you can simply walk up to them and take their stuff. Starting with this guy, where I'm going to show you with eye shots. So the messages that we're looking for, that he's stumbled, he's staggered, he's off balance. Okay, well, he's knocked out. So he's knocked out, so I can take his stuff, but that's not exactly what I wanted to showcase here. We're going to move on to this guy. So we're just going to throw flares at this guy in the eyes until we get the message that I'm farming for. Okay, now that guy's out cold as well. So let's try this again. So on this guy, we're going to get the message that he's stumbled. See, we did an eye shot, and he's blinded and he's stunned, which means I can right tap to get to arrow mode, then left tap, and guess what? Now I can take all of his stuff. So now I want to show you another way to do this, okay? But bottom line, what happened is he was stunned. That message, stunned, staggered, stumbled, it always means the same thing. It means you got the critical effect of a lost turn on that opponent. It works the same way with arm shots too. Arm shots and eye shots can get critical effects that lose turn. Here, the first time I did it. See this message right here, pushing the arm out of the way? What that means as critical effect terms is that he's lost a turn. I can right tap and then left tap, and now I can gain access to their inventory. But that's the whole point. He's on his feet. We're inside of combat mode, and I got the critical effect that I wanted, and then I was able to take all of his stuff, and I didn't have to steal it from him, and I didn't have to knock him out or anything. Next, we're going to go ahead and rob super mutants. Who doesn't like the prospect of being able to rob a super mutant? Well, we're going to go ahead and do that. So there's a ton of different messages that you're going to get in this message window for mutants, okay? But basically, you're trying to stun them, throw them off balance, stagger them, get them to stumble. And right here, we've thrown him off balance, which means I can run up to this guy and I can rob him. Let's see if I can farm another message just to see, out of curiosity. But that message won't work. Nearly blinding, that's not enough. That's not a message that'll work. That's not a message that'll work. Nearly blinding won't work. It needs to say that you've stunned him, or, well, now he's unconscious. If he's unconscious, then you can take his stuff, but that's not really what we're focusing on here. So let me show you how we can rob them with arm shots now. Eye shots are incredibly effective because you have a great chance of pulling that off. Arm shots, you don't have the best chance. Occasionally, but not every time, you'll break the thick arm of the super mutant and it'll say spewing mutant blood over the ground. Now, occasionally, you'll be able to then stun them and they'll get the message to lose a turn. This particular time, it worked and we were able to get them to lose a turn. But it doesn't always work. Let's see if we can farm some other messages. I just want to make sure that, now look at this. It says striking a nerve and forcing the giant to grab his arm in pain. That's a message that works. Let's see if we can get another one. There's several messages that you can get. If I can get them all on one video, that would be really good. Okay, but they're very susceptible to arm shots. And if you've got, like, say, 10 luck and finesse, forcing him to grab his arm in pain, stuff along those lines, then you could just go ahead and rob them in combat. Okay, so moving on. We just did eye shots and arm shots with super mutants. Next, we're going to rob robots. So did you know you can rob robots? Well, you absolutely can. It's the regulator, gents. It's the regulator. The regulator critical hit will sometimes give you the critical effect of the robot losing his turn. So what happens is it'll say, damaging some critical opponents, forcing the robot out of turn. So he's just basically flopped on the ground like a potato. All right, but he's going to get back up on his next turn. He's not unconscious, but for this turn, that's just the animation styling that the developers gave him. I can rob him. I can take his inventory. But I want you guys to understand, not every time a robot lies on the ground like that can you actually take stuff from them. So here, I'm going to huck some flares at this robot's eyes over here, or his head, and at his CPU. I threw that at his CPU. Sparks flew out of the CPU. I'm unable to rob him. I can't. But with the regulator, I can. We'll farm for the messages that the robot loses control, and then you're going to see, and now, just like that, I can take all of his stuff. Guys, try robbery in your own game, and remember, anytime an opponent loses a turn, either because you farmed a critical effect that caused them to lose a turn, or that they critically failed, and you see the message in this message window here that says they've lost a turn, then you can rob them. Guys, thank you for tuning into this, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye now.